I think we left off with your career picking up with the piece going to the Bahamas.
Yes.
And then that enabled you to eventually settle here.
Yes.
In North Miami.
Yes.
Okay. So what year did that happen?
I got here on my birthday, 40 years, 1999.
Okay.
That's when I arrived here. I came here, I was really, really lucky, really blessed. As I was transitioning over into the Bahamas,
Right.
we were at Piccadilly's, and I ran into a lady by the name of Lillian Reynolds. Lillian Reynolds was a major principal at Greenwich Film Studios here in Miami. Greenwich was known for Birdcage, Striptease, True Lies, All About Mary, but it was really known for animals in the film industry, Gentle Ben and Flipper.
Okay.
So I was able to come into the largest film studio here in South Florida, and that's where my entertainment career or my multimedia career began to kind of take wings. And that's after coming back from the Bahamas,
Right.
to set up the distribution. Just so happened I was involved with media, and media also was very relative to media marketing. So it all kind of worked for me.
Gotcha. Okay. So from that point
Yes.
to now,
Yes.
what have you been doing after the service?
Well, here in South Florida, I came here, as I indicated, to facilitate a business in the Bahamas.
Right.
With global distribution. I came over here, and then I met my wife, the lady who I'm married to now, that I've been married to for about 22 years. She now works, she's a big shot in the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the union. She's also the Secretary Treasurer for the TNBC, which is the Teamster Congressional Black Caucus. So I met her, and I'm still in the movie industry. But then there's other things started permeating. Other people started identifying my skill sets and my abilities from a business perspective. And then I became an independent consultant. I managed grants with Department of Education, special education. The grant was called Project with Industry. One of the companies that I was working for, it was called Abilities of Florida. That whole focus is on how we transition the disabled population into either workforce or either training and education. So I did that for about 5 or 6 years, and that was a very exciting platform, because there was a lot of not only disabled veterans, but I was dealing with the disabled population. But the ability to be able to help people transition into a better lifestyle, that's very, very gratifying. So I was able to put all that in perspective, and then that began to kind of structure some of the major developers, Pinnacle Housing Group, Wayne Rosen. A lot of these guys seen the abilities that I had, and they will always look into how they penetrate government contracting, how they penetrate affordable housing for veterans. So that really began to lay the foundation of where I'm at today. Right now, I'm the president of a publicly traded company. It's called Community Redevelopment Inc. We just did a reverse merger. Our market cap is about $65 to $67 million. The whole primary focus is to create opportunities through Community Redevelopment Inc. is to begin to, how do we reboot the supply chain? How do we reboot the system that we're experiencing right now? The times are not good times now. We have a lot of people that are suffering right now. So Community Redevelopment Inc., we have a capital backing, as a publicly trading company. So our whole focus now is to do what we do, but take it to the public market. It's all about sustainability. It's all about resilience. And it's all about how do we, capital formation, particularly for, not only for our veterans population, but for our communities. They need these types of integration, particularly in our black community, because we're not thinking progressive now. We're thinking like consumers, not producers. So the challenge now is to change that thought from consuming to producing. Community Redevelopment Inc. I just left Michigan, and our goal is to cross-pollinate strategic partnerships with HUD, with USDA, with Department of Labor. Now, I had a conference call yesterday with a gentleman who's the director for the Department of Veterans Affairs, Faith-Based Community Partnership. Everybody now is looking for a third-party entity to begin to reboot this system. The government can't do this. We all realize that. But the government is looking for that third-party organization or organizations that understand what is going to take to get our country back on the right track again. Community Redevelopment Inc., the president and CEO is Chuck Arnold. Chuck Arnold has a background of taking about 125 companies public over the years. Matter of fact, he just acquisitioned right next to Cracker Barrel, Alpha on 75. It's his organization called StemTech. So he brought that out of bankruptcy. Senator Silver's a part of our partner. Everyone who knows him, he did 24 years unopposed as a state senator. So we had the ability to bring the politics, the investment, and the veterans entity in one force multiplier. We're very excited about that. We've already accumulated about 10 press releases because our market makers are getting it now. So we projected it should hit the market about $5 to $10 a share. So by doing that, now my responsibility as the director of faith-based, director for grassroots, the director for veterans organization, director for integration, cross-pollination with institutions of higher learning, I have a articulation agreement with FAMU to bring veterans into the agriculture industry. So now you can begin to see the 360-degree design that we're doing here to support the transition of service members, to support the underserved, but most important, stay focused on how can we support the children of the fallen warriors. That's the basic, but we have to wrap a sustainable model. We feel we have the abilities, the capital abilities, to generate our own capital. The governmental dollars are some of the organizations that we support that need, that may be a 501c3, that need that support. So we put that in a bucket to support everyone. That's a part of this 360-degree model that we submit to the government as a proof of concept. Demonstration pilot, turnkey solution. The focus here again, we have to change our thought process and go more into producing. So our focus is to take veterans organizations that have the ability to create sustainability and get them and change their thought process, because now the reach one, teach one, now that begins to marinate all the way back down to the common veteran that have no hope. The common veteran that's stuck on opiates. Common veteran that's considering suicide. See, there's some things that have to change here. And I believe that our organization, having the capital and having the strategic partnerships with the government through the faith base, we have the bandwidth to make that change. The conversation that I had yesterday with the director for VA faith-based and community partnership, he indicated to me, he says, Kevin, I need for you to prepare a wish list on whoever in Washington that you need to talk to, and I'll make it happen, because we see your plan. Because our plan, the Anthem Project, is well documented. This is not a plan it's not a fragmented plan. You know, one of the investors is a guy by the name of Michael Woe from Pinnacle Housing Group, which is the 8th largest affordable housing developer in the country. And Michael, he sees fit to want to leave something to the veterans. So he put a lot of money in this project called the Anthem. So we have a base proposal. We have the finances supported, and we have the veterans organization that's beginning to mold into the activities here. So it's creating sustainability, number one, and really helping our country to get back on our feet again. That's the exciting part of what we're doing. It's very vertical, very horizontal, very sustainable, strategic partnerships with resilience, training institutions of higher learning, our partner package. We're focusing on the test group, control group. The test group is, the control group is South Florida, and the test group is going to be Washington, D.C., where our partners are at. So we have a partner group called Velocity Companies. We just built a 6,000-seat stadium in North Carolina where Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson is participating in the partnership. So we got everything in perspective here. And that's a beautiful thing, to have everything in perspective, have government support, but have capital to execute. That doesn't happen that often.
Right.
And we're there to make that happen. Every day I think you should wake up and try to be a positive input. Every day you should have something to come out of your head, how you can support, how you can empower somebody else. That should be a factor every day of our lives. Because every time we go past people and we see people on the street, you know how people sometimes say, look at that person. No, I say pray for that person. And how can we change that person's lifestyle? South Florida is a difficult place because the veterans population here is not really being served well. I think it takes external organizations that in alignment with VA, outreach, to create these force multipliers, not to privatize VA, but bring added value to VA. And that's where Director Russo, who is a director for Miami VA, supports my initiative 100%. And it's an exciting time to bring our veterans together that have certain skill sets. We got a lot of veterans. We monitor veterans that are transitioning from military through this, My Soldier for Life program. My Soldier for Life started in Fort Hood, Texas, and they did a partnership with General Motors. They teach these guys good wrench, so they now become certified mechanics as they leave the military. So these are the things that are being manifested, being changed around, that they're asking for third-party organizations that have the abilities to incorporate that Soldier for Life program, bring in other industrial platforms. We're also involved with Unicor. Unicor is a federal prison industry. Unicor federal prison industry at one point in time had all the contracts for all of the furniture for the government. They lost their contracts, so now Unicor and the veterans that was incarcerated in the Unicor system had preference in that. But what happened was they took their credibility away. So now you got 103 federal prisons that are looking to reboot their industry. So that's exciting for us as well, because we had abilities with some of our Mexican partners to begin to reestablish and reboot the supply chain. So it's a business deal here. It's not advocacy, it's commercial sustainability. That's what's going to drive our country, and that's what's going to support our veterans. And that's what Community Redevelopment, Anthem Holding, and some of our other, Eversharp is our veteran partner in Michigan. So what we've done, we take Michigan and Ohio and St. Louis, and we identified veterans partners that have skin in the game, capacity, and we incorporate them and making sure the capitalization in terms of government contracting, procurement is in place. And even to the point where veterans in the construction industry, it kills them because they can never get bonding or insurance. It's kind of set up for failure.
Right.
So we're rebooting that and making sure that our veterans have a better shot at kicking the can. And we're excited about this new administration. But we're a bipartisan organization. I represent Republican veterans. I represent Democrat veterans. You know. So, and from a business perspective, we know it's important for us to also be able to sell product outside, but to bring product inside. Mm-hmm. So we have a strategic partnership with Department of Commerce. Department of Commerce have this Vet Go Global project, and they want me to come in and begin to structure what we're doing with our international partners, and how do we reboot the Department of Commerce Vets Go Global. So there's a big challenge on my shoulders here, and we accept it because we are an organization that have the capacity to accept that, and we're vertically and horizontally, and we're not only domestic, but we're globally as well. It's a common fact that say what 70% of the small businesses what runs the country. So now I think it's important for us to really to buckle into this thing with this new administration. If your lane is agriculture, if your lane is service and support, if your lane is training, workforce development, if your lane is manufacturing, get in the lane, get connected to some people, and let's move this country forward.